Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yamuna Tira Banantari Yamuna Tira Banantari Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Go to Pimanandi. Jai Vishupad Paramahamsa Tri Pratika Sadhusto Tarasatta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace. Hereby Charanarvin Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Skandaviti Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Samavata Bhakta Vrinda ki. Harinam Sankirtan ki. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Dainitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Daksurindritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jita Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutirivi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patita Namaha Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Praya Sabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swastaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, is the king of all Vedic literatures. It is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Mukam karoti vatanam pangum langayate girim yatvipa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yatvipa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Adding color. More garland. Welcome to morning Bhagavatam class. We continue reading from canto number 1, chapter 8, prayers by Queen Kunti. Today text number 41. Yes. Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishva Murte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Vrishnishu Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindhi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu Atha Therefore Vishva Isha O Lord of the universe Vishva Atman O soul of the universe Vishvamurte O personality of the universal form Swakeshu unto my own kinsman Me my Snehapasham tie of affection. Imam, this, chindhi, cut off, dridham, deep, pandushu, for the Pandavas, mm, vrishnishu, for the Vrishnis also. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O Lord of the universe, O soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please, therefore, sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas, and the Vrishnis. Kindly repeat after me. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas, and the Vrishnis. Purport. A pure devotee of the Lord is ashamed to ask anything in self-interest from the Lord. But the householders are sometimes obliged to ask favors from the Lord, being bound by family affection. Was conscious of this fact to the Lord to cut off the affection tie for her own kinsmen, the Pandavas, and the Vrishnis. The Pandavas are her own sons, and the Vrishnis are the members of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both the families. Both the families required the help, required the Lord's help, because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti Devi wished Sri Krishna to remain with her sons the Pandavas, but by his doing so, her paternal house would be bereft of the benefit. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she desired to cut off the affectionate tie. A pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for all forgotten souls. The typical example is the band of six Goswamis, the band of six Goswamis, who followed the path of Lord Chaitanya. All of them belong to the most enlightened and cultured, rich families of the higher castes. But for the benefit of the mass of population, they left their comfortable homes and became mendicants. To cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities. Without doing this, no one can be qualified. I showed this by example. Sri Ram affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as a brahmana, a devotee, a king, or a public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and being weak, she prayed to be free from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of the universe, or the Lord of the universal mind, indicating his all-powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity toward a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him and thus clears the path of his going back to Godhead. Translation again. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas, and the Vrishnis. Family affection. Srila Prabhupada explains how the strongest attachment is family attachment, and that strong family attachment finds its root actually in sex life. And that is generally the cause of bondage for the conditioned soul who is seeking happiness naturally, who wants to be happy, who wants to love, who wants to be loved. But the only available love and affection that he knows is family relation. Unless one is fortunate to cultivate superior knowledge, transcendental knowledge, one will be caught up in this temporary love and affection that family life actually offers. So here, Queen Kunti Devi is praying to the Lord. Of course, he's already such an exalted personality, but there's always a natural affection for those who are very close in family life, and she's praying here to Lord Krishna that kindly sever or break uh, away, help me to break away this affection, these feelings of affection for both the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. And of course, at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains how this is how we can pave the road of liberation to go back home, back to Godhead, isn't it? We in spiritual life, especially in Krishna consciousness, we are not denying the natural need or the natural feelings of love and affection, but we learn to transfer rather uh, those natural needs of love and affection to Krishna, to Krishna, uh, because that is our original uh, position, and that is a permanent um, situation. Uh, that is a permanent relationship. Um, in other words, when one is not having this understanding, one builds happiness around these temporary relationships in the material world, uh, and which inevitably cause distress, anxiety, and suffering. Because even the best of relationships, there are people who are keeping, say, in family life. It's it's kind of rare these days, but there are people who have maintained a good relationship, so-called good relationship, for many many years. We've been married for 50 years now. Um, but even the best of those relationships, they're very rare, extremely rare. But even the best of those relationships are actually not really fulfilling, and they are also temporary. Um, so, for the living entity to qualify to go back home, back to Godhead, uh, this these family relationships um, need to be seen in the proper perspective. This is elaborated upon actually by Narada Muni in the seventh canto when he speaks about family life. Uh, and that is why, especially for householders, it is recommended that husband and wife and children, husband and wife and other family members, that they have the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord at home, so that they can learn to gradually um, dovetail that natural tendency of love and affection towards the Lord, as opposed to amongst themselves. Uh, so this is the kind of consciousness we should not misunderstanding. We should not misunderstand. Rather, we're not against family life, but we need to understand uh, that all of the relationships that one can experience in the material world, uh, in terms of family relation, family connection, they're all very temporary, and and therefore, in our Vedic culture, it is recommended that one, um, it's an integral part of the process of self-realization. One should give up family life, isn't it? Before entering family life, one needs to develop that consciousness or that understanding. So vanaprastha is there, isn't it? We enter family life for only a few years, um, generally 25 years, whatever. And then we're meant to give up family life, temporary family relations. Mm. So even such an exalted personality like Queen Kunti Devi is aware of the dangers uh, that are there when we are in family relations, and she is uh, praying here to the Lord to kindly help me sever these relationships with family members, um, so that I can learn to become uh, fully and completely dependent. This is important lesson in life, how um, in distress, ultimately in distressful conditions or situations, um, even the closest member of our family, parents are generally very naturally they're very affectionate towards their children, but ultimately they cannot help, isn't it? No family member can help us when we are put by the Lord's arrangement. And of course, Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that sometimes the Lord, he makes certain arrangements to help this uh, tie of family affection actually become broken. Uh, this cannot be so easily understood unless one develops this kind of higher uh, understanding. And of course, we can think about one of the prominent examples that comes to mind. You might think of other examples also, but we were mentioning that some time back, when actually a few come to mind. The pastime of Srivas Thakur, when his son has passed away. He being the father, he remained very sober-minded. Uh, Shivananda Sen, you know that pastime of Shivananda Sen? When the devotees were traveling to Jagannath Puri.
Nityananda Prabhu will kick on his chest.
Yes. And also, even before that, Nityananda Prabhu, before Shivananda Sen came, he cursed in front of Shivananda Sen's wife, die, because of having seemingly made proper arrangements for the staying and for prasadam
and food arrangements.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why this was. We were talking about Padayatra. They were on Padayatra.
Shivananda Sen has took that. It's a mercy.
He took what?
It's took as like mercy.
As mercy. Yes. Yes. So Prabhupada mentions also about the a persons who are especially in positions of responsibility or leadership positions. Probably speaks about brahmanas and leaders, kshatriyas, kings. They must be broad-minded. Right? The actual definition of the brahmana, Prabhupada gave a whole lecture on this. There's the kripana mentality, which is actually what majority of people are thinking basically, either of themselves, isn't it? Our own family or our extended family, as Prabhupada would say. What did Prabhupada call that? What kind of a disease? Skin disease. This is the real skin disease, bodily. Yeah. Um, um, as the saying goes, also, beauty is only skin deep. And how thick is the skin?
It will
Very
become
thin.
red.
Immediately you can get a cut. The body is nicely covered by skin, but but skin is like very fragile. It's like we're standing, we're seeing, oh, such a beautiful person, such an attractive, but behind this is like so many things that are not so beautiful.
Liquid beauty.
Liquid beauty. Yeah. So that's why uh, developing Krishna consciousness means developing a totally different type of ordinary consciousness, which generally is there with those who are on the bodily platform. And of course, we we um, we we should avoid becoming proud in any way, uh, and and develop this mood of compassion for those who have yet to know or who have yet to develop that understanding, because they're caught up on the body platform in so many, yeah, basically matters connected with family, isn't it? Family ties, family affection, family relationships, etc. Um, going to Gurukul helps one actually kind of, you know, learn to live away from the family. Those who go to boarding school, they have that opportunity. And of course, she's glorifying Krishna here by referring him as the Lord of the universe, the soul of the universe, and personality of the form of the universe. So one who is elevated in consciousness, he sees the presence of the Lord, isn't it? In everything and in all events. And therefore, the more one learns to develop this um, total dependency on the Lord, then one is not overly troubled or overly disturbed by whatever may be taking place. Mm. So, any thoughts on this? Yeah.
Here we can see that Vishnuvamsha is the dynasty of Lord Krishna. So it is said that we have to keep contact with devotees. They are devotees. Means somehow or other they are devotees, being born of Yadu dynasty. But in Kunti is saying that uh, being paternal relatives, so she wanted to cut off that affection affection towards them. How to see this? Either she is in the mood of that paternal affection, but apart from that, they were related to Yadu dynasty. How to consider this?
The whatever family one is related to, generally there's a tendency of becoming affectionate because the family ties are there. So she's equally praying to Lord Krishna to become detached from not only Vishnu dynasty, but from, I mean, from her own sons. Although her own sons, which is the point I think you're making, they're devotees. Why,
Yeah.
why should we
Yeah.
pray to become detached from devotees,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely, the Pandavas are devotees, no one will doubt.
Yeah.
But they are also representing the concept of my son.
Yeah. She wants to give up affection towards their sons, but at the same time, she is begging for cut off that affection towards Edu dynasty also.
Yes.
So how to how she is
No, the idea is that a devotee, he wants to fully, completely surrender to Krishna. So one may, because in life we have relatives on both sides, maternal side, paternal side, isn't it? So the idea is that we should cut off affection for either side and fully, completely surrender to Krishna. And even though on both sides there might be devotees, naturally we are, if we are surrendered to Krishna, we also relationships with devotees who may be in our family as well. But the idea is generally for uh, for those who are in family life, there is that very strong tendency of being attached, and she's she's simply telling that, because actually understanding that I tend to become overly attached to any of the persons who are my relatives. She is basically requesting the Lord to simply break any kind of possible attachment. She's already totally attached to Krishna, isn't it? But as a humble devotee, she is requesting that the Lord protect her, so that she can be more and more surrendered. And generally, things that happen in family, even amongst like devotee families, we tend to sometimes possibly overreact. That tendency is there. Uh, so she, as a very uh, chaste, humble devotee, she's expressing her desire to be simply fully surrendered to the Lord, uh, knowing very well that being connected with two families, two dynasties, that sometimes that can be some hindrance in the surrendering process.
and in this purport Prabhupada has mentioned that with cutting this affectionate towards family members, one cannot become a qualified Brahman.
Yes,
So how to consider this to become a qualified Brahmana? It should be cut off this family affection,
not only to become a qualified brahmana, to become a qualified devotee.
king, and something like he is mentioning that to become uh, Brahmana or Kshatriya or
Yeah, yes,
so you have to cut off that affection towards family life.
yes, because generally, one who has not developed this broader understanding, broader consciousness, he will not be able to actually uh, give his time and his energy. We're talking here about what is being referred to here are persons in leadership position. Brahmanas are leaders, Kshatriyas are natural leaders, public leaders, whatever. Um, and generally, people are concerned about their immediate family members or relatives like that. But to be an effective king, to be an effective Brahmana, one has to develop this broader consciousness that everyone is, you know, an eternal servant of Krishna, and therefore, without developing this consciousness, we tend to limit ourselves to just a smaller number of let's say, family members. Uh, this is this is the major disease in modern day society, where, isn't it, nations are against nations, no, not understanding that, hey, we're all the same, we're all living entities, we're all human beings, and so we're all brothers and sisters. So when we're lacking this basic understanding, which is nicely explained actually in the essay of Gita Nagari, since that Prabhupada um, has phrased, uh, we need to understand the, what is it, that we are all children of nature. We need to understand that we're all um, sons of God, isn't it? We're all dependent on God, uh, and so therefore in the purport, Prabhupada refers to the need to develop this broader consciousness. It doesn't mean that we don't care for family members, but we develop a broader understanding that, okay, in this life, due to my karma, due to their karma, due to my karma, I have them, I have her as my wife, I have them as my children. Due to their karma, they have me as their father or their husband. But that's all that's happening all the time in all species of life. And therefore, it's only by the cultivation of this knowledge that we uh, develop a higher understanding that I'm not only responsible to them, but I'm actually, especially meant for those who are, again, in leadership position, which is being referred to here. Uh, isn't it? Those who are brahmanas, those who are, uh, yeah, in the last paragraph, such personalities as a brahmana, so that's a leader, a devotee, by nature actually a devotee because he has knowledge, he can impart, can share, can give that knowledge, so he's kind of a leader also. A king, naturally, or a public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. So the more we actually become devotee minded, the more we are actual devotees, then, as Prabhupada would explain, a Vaishnava, when we say devotee, we mean Vaishnava, isn't it? A Vaishnava is automatically developing the qualities of a Brahmana. And one of the important qualities of a Brahmana, Pandita Samadarshinaha. We're not only concerned about family members, we're not only concerned about human beings, we see the presence of living entities everywhere. And we keep in mind that every living entity is going through this hard struggle of existence. It's like, every morning here birds come and they take their food. Well, it's a hellish condition for those who are being swallowed up by the birds. But for the bird, they it's just part of nature, and they don't incur any karma. But that's part of the different sufferings that the living entity goes through different species of, of life. So someone who is broad-minded will conscious. The more one is developed in higher consciousness, then he is especially endeavoring to perform what is called para upakar, isn't it? The Prabhupada in one lecture mentions that one who's a real social worker will actually become a devotee. Because the real welfare, the real welfare work in the world is not simply to open schools or hospitals, etc., but actually to give this transcendental knowledge, to bring people to this full and complete dependency on the Lord, and to not be overly, to become what we call enamored, totally bewildered by family situations, family ties, etc., which the extension of that family tie comes in the form of what we call nationalism. My nation, this country, and people are in the same way that two individuals are at headlock with one another. So nations are also on a larger scale are also having issues with one another to the extent of um, going to war, which is taking place right now. Yeah.
According to the process of developing Krishna consciousness, the false ego naturally become weaker and weaker if you properly practice
Yes.
and nourish the real ego. And we have this possession of Krishna is mine, Guru Raj is mine, I'm service. So why a specific prayer should order Krishna, ask Krishna to 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 deal with our false ego if the natural process already affected. It looks like the Krishna consciousness doesn't work, so I ask Krishna to diminish my attachment. So should naturally happen that, and step by step, not just cut it. Or maybe it is just for the Vanaprastha stage when, or for a leader special, before someone becomes a leader. Then, but for general devotees, it doesn't need that prayer. It looks like.
But actually, in the last paragraph, he spoke about brahmanas. He speaks about kings.
Yeah, but I don't know why devotees need that prayer.
No, because devotees by nature are also, because they have this knowledge, are leaders.
Yeah, but when they become really devotees, they naturally not attached. Other persons have no such a process which naturally weakens the false ego, but devotees have that. Brahmanas doesn't have that. But devotees already have a method how they weaken that. And that's the other instruction. You shouldn't become guru when you are still not able to guide them to the
Yeah.
path of devotion. So
He said that
until that you are not a guru devotee, so means you are just a devotee.
But Lord Chaitanya ordered every devotee to become guru. Lord Chaitanya ordered every devotee to become
Step
guru.
by step.
Yes.
So when we reach that level of detachment, then we naturally feel that Prabhupada was not immediately went to test. So
But even before going to the West, Prabhupada Also preaching, isn't it?
Yeah, he was preaching.
He started his Dr. Gadget
But
magazine.
natural was his attraction to his wife was not so strong and become weaker and weaker.
Yeah, even at the time of marriage, the distraction was not there.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare, actually.
Yeah, it is mentioned there. If God wants to favor that particular person, He cuts off all
Yeah,
bondages.
yes, Prabhupada gives himself as an example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But without asking. So it was not like proper have a prayer for that, or at least we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But yeah, at least in these classes, he would say, I also prayed for, and he didn't. Then he's opening his
But we know at the same time that the pure devotees, those who are advanced devotees, they don't consider themselves advanced devotees. They're to the Lord, please protect me from Maya. So we can say, well, why should a pure devotee pray like that? But pure devotees pray like that. They consider themselves, we can see, and especially the songs and prayers of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I'm lower than the worm stool. I'm just, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami tells, please don't read what I'm writing because you're going to fall down. I'm a fallen soul. So the advanced devotees have this. We see them, and they are, of course, advanced as well. But they have this mood that I'm.
I see some example like when there was a dead body boy and who was awakened by Vaishnava.
Yes.
No attraction to the family members because they couldn't save him. He told, I'm staying with my guru. So I mean that generally when the soul awakened, when the soul really experiencing that attachment to Guru, Gauranga, there is no need of this kind of extra request. That's my point.
You don't like the prayers of Queen Kunti.
Prayers need like I need to more attach to you. I mean that's for me is more reasonable prayer.
Prayers are on the level of their consciousness.
Prayers are on the level of
Different
consciousness.
Different consciousness.
Yes.
Is it? We can say that like that, Maris?
Yeah. For example, when we read prayers of whether it's Narottam Das Thakur or Queen Kunti Devi here, we cannot, unless we're on that same level, we cannot fully appreciate them. We can extract
Just
different things.
try to adapt.
Yeah. I mean, difficult to understand the mind and the consciousness of such elevated personalities. Just like there was the example, I think it was Narottam Das Thakur, who after leaving his family to go to Vrindavan and spending time in Vrindavan, getting the association of Srila Jiva Goswami, he was already such an advanced personality, and he became even more. So when he returned back, leave external consciousness, and the family members were, understood he's a devotee, but one time actually he left external consciousness for like 2 days, and they said, "Wow, this is getting a little too heavy." So what to do? So they call his very, who is his close, intimate friend? Ramachandra. He prays to Ramachandra, isn't it? And so somebody went, I don't know where he was, they got him and they explained to him what was going on. He said, okay, don't worry. So he sat down beside him and he went into trance. And uh, he joined, Narottam where he was in his trance, his meditation. And he told him that, you know, your family members are getting a little bit anxious. It's been 2 days now, you know. So, anyways, somehow he convinced him to come back to external consciousness. So I'm saying that, personalities on that level, they can only understand one another when somebody else is on. The other family members, I'm sure they're all very nice devotees, but uh, could not do what Ramachandra did, who that narrated actually in his life. This one time that the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Um, so yeah.
I remember someone told this differently at the end of these pastimes.
Mm-hmm.
So Ramachandra went into the situation and there was a big anxiety because Radharan lost one of the rings which they wanted to put back before they continued the pastimes. It was very important ring. So Ramachandra found it and in his swarupa, like a little gopi.
Yes.
Ramachandra found it and gave it to Narottam as little gopi, and Narottam gave it to Lalita, and then they could finish. And then they went back.
Okay. Yeah.
Made Ramachandra also to forget that they are waiting for them
Right.
anyway. But
Yeah. There's many things.
yeah, but living in this kind of family, not easy for the family members.
Yeah. But so that's a different story from it was Shamananda, no, who got special kind of.
Yeah, but Shamananda was a young boy that time.
Right.
Anklet. While cleaning the groove,
He found some kind of
anklet of brother and
broken ankle.
yes.
It's placed on the mud. While cleaning, he found it and
Yes.
he handed over it. But before that,
Yeah, I think Radharani sent
yeah, Lalita
Lalita, and then she was trying to convince him, you have to give it to me. No, I'll only give it directly to.
Yeah.
So
Guru Govinda Maharaj, in his biography book, we see that, and he was really in anxiety that what I'm doing here in this school, teaching these stupid boys. Also, some of them become these
right.
devotees. So he preached them very nicely. But why I'm teaching this English poet?
Yeah.
This is stupid uh, things.
Yes.
So he just wrote a letter to the headmaster and thought, okay,
Okay. I'm out.
denounced, I'm out. Okay. And then he went to the nearby temple and he sent message to the families that I want to be
Okay.
out of the family affairs.
Yes.
So the family came to him and started to convince him that please come back, we are
Yeah.
one family. And then for one day they have this discussion, and then he asked his brother to take care of the family.
Mm.
And when the brother told, yeah, that's okay, we will continue, then they give him permission
Permission.
to leave. Or of course he would not have
Right.
wanted to beg because of the guru.
Yeah.
I want the guru. So if I'm living here in the family, I don't find the guru.
Good. Yeah.
That was his cutting out.
Yes. That's when he started. He traveled in so many places and finally came to Vrindavan.
Not so easy to find a guru.
Yeah.
At least on that.
Yeah.
Example. examples when there's attachment is not anymore there.
Yes.
You don't go to the Vamsi bath at evening.
Uh,
There are some
yeah,
boy
yeah,
they improve because
yes, yes,
you
yes,
will never get back.
yeah, yes.
Yes,
Be very careful.
and you know the here in Vrindavan, young girls when there is a news that Krishna is nearby, their mothers closing them to the room, not to allow them to
Yes,
go
yes,
out
yes.
until Krishna is nearby because when they see
Yeah, yeah,
Krishna,
yeah, yeah. They go crazy.
they are
They lose control.
becoming haunted.
Yeah. Uh, mm. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Jai Sri Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Gauda Pimanandi.
Salamat Bhaktiraj Swami Maharaj ki jai.
He's guarding this for